Hello, this is Dr. Kevin Connors, and we're going to go over your Rife tutorial, how to use this machine that we're designing to every desire to help you in every way. So let's follow through this. This video is also going to be on your computer itself. So if you need a review on how to use this, this is going to be placed on your desktop of your Rife computer. So that will be a nice little benefit too. The pictures that we use in this video, see these pictures here, are in the back of your binder. So your new patient binder has these pictures, and it's as easy as pie. It's really easy. We tell people if you've never used a computer, it's going to be a little challenging. If you know how to use a computer well enough to email somebody, you're going to be just fine. So it's fairly easy to learn. So this picture here says there's some things that you need to know about the back of your Rife machine. There's fuses that are extra fuses taped to the back of your Rife machine. There may be an extra transistor, that's the thing with the little foam on it here, that is hot glued to the back of your Rife machine. And then there's two transistors that the yellow arrow goes to that can heat up and burn out. That's why there's an extra one. But quite honestly, I maybe replaced a dozen of these in a dozen years. And it's because people used it not having it plugged into a power surge control, or they had an electrical storm or something like that. So that's where you'll burn out a transistor. The other way that you'll burn out a transistor is if you run the thing without the bulb plugged in. So don't do that. There is a child safety switch if you're looking at the machine to the right of the machine on the bottom, but not in any of the newer machines. So if yours is the newest model, it does not have the child safety switch. We're able to get that taken off, which is very nice. So if you have a little bit older, early 2017 model and before, then they'll have a child safety switch. Make sure that's toggled up. The front of your machine. The front of your machine has a power button on the left, the output control right next to it, which is always need to be all the way cranked to the clockwise direction. The bulb toggle, very, very important. It says bath or bulb. Always have it in the bulb position if you're using the bulb. Makes sense? Well, what's the bath for? Well, there is a second apparatus that you can purchase that plugs into the bottom right-hand corner of your machine, that big little plug-in thing that you're not using if you don't have the bath apparatus. The bath apparatus is like an ion cleanse machine. It helps pull stuff out of like a bucket of water that you would put your hands or your feet in. There is an accessory toggle that says color wand, and you could toggle that either way because you're not using a color wand ground. And then the bulb is plugged into the center of the machine where there's a black plug and a red plug. And your bulb has on the plugs either a red or a black end to it. You plug the red into the red and the black into the black. Pretty easy. And then on the far right upper, there's LED indicator lights, and that has to do that the machine is running. Now, it'll be a happy day in paradise for you when your little indicator lights burn out, because those are the most annoying things about the entire Rife machine, are those indicator lights. In mine, for a long time, I actually put a piece of black tape over them to cover them up. So they can burn out and not work, and the machine is still running. So just so you know, that is something to look for. So the Rife setup, you're going to plug in your computer. So your computer needs to be plugged into the same surge protector that you're plugging in the Rife machine. So you want to use a surge protector. So this is a high voltage machine that Rife is, and you don't want it to be damaged by an electrical failure or surges in electricity in your house for whatever reason. Plug the computer into that also. You should always have the computer plugged in, and you should always run it plugged in. So if you're not running it off the batteries, computers produce like 1/10 the EMFs. So you always want to plug it in and use it off of home power. Then you plug the USB from the Rife machine into the USB port. Make sure you plug it into the USB port, because we have people call and say, it's not working. Is it plugged into the USB port? No, sorry. So plug it into the USB port. And then you plug the bulb in. The bulb again is red to red, black to black. And then you put the bulb in your bed with you. Now, I've told you that in our house, I have the Rife machine. The computer itself is sitting on the bedside stand next to my side of the bed. Then we have the Rife machine itself is underneath our bed, because to me, the lights that come out of the Rife front are the most annoying. And when we moved our bedroom around, I took the black tape off and cleaned it up, but I put the Rife machine under the bed. Therefore, the wires that come out of the front of the Rife machine will never get caught on somebody's foot and pulled out or something like that. And then so the wires come out of the Rife machine, they go behind my bed, and they come up behind my headboard and the mattress, and the bulb is always lying in our bed. We make the covers over the top of the bulb. You'll get used to it. So that when you turn on the Rife, it is going to be ready to go. You get under your covers, the bulb is already shining, and you're ready to go, and you're running your program. So your daily use is just that. It's time to go to bed. You open up the computer, because you've closed it the night before. You open up the computer, you boot up the computer so that the computer turns on, and you can see the little Rife icon on the desktop. Double click on that Rife icon, because that's the Rife program, and you open up the Rife program. Then you go to your folder. If you have to hit open home, you can. If you hit open, you'll go back to the folder that you were last in. And then you go to your folder. Now, if this is the first time you've opened up the Rife program, you'll want to hit open home, and then you'll see a whole bunch of folders. So remember, your Rife machine that you're going home with has well over 1,000, maybe even 2,000 programs on it. But the majority of the time, you're going to be using the programs that I created for you. And I put it in a folder that has AA and your name, so it'll come up first alphabetically. So it should be the top folder in the program. Double click on the folder, and then you'll see your name under your name there. It'll come up Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And whatever day it is today, you click on that day. That will open up that day's program, and then you hit run, and you run the program. It's literally that easy. But don't forget the next thing, shut the computer. Once you hit run on the computer, it sends the program to the Rife machine. Literally, you could disconnect the computer and walk away with it if you want. The Rife would then continue to run that program until it times out. Now understand, I wrote the programs for you that are longer than a typical person would sleep. Typically, I write 8 to 9 to 10-hour programs, knowing that people are only going to be in bed 6, 7, 8 hours, because the end of one is going to recycle back in. I just want, if you go to bed early and you're going to read a book or watch some TV or something like that, I want you to get as much in as possible. So you don't have to be sleeping for this to work. Just run it. You're going to bed. You're going to be in the vicinity of the Rife machine. Turn it on. Okay? Get used to just turning it on. It takes an extra 30 seconds of the day. Believe it or not, I've gotten people's Rifes back, and I can tell if you use it or not, because there's a secret way for me to tell that. And I've had people not do well, and then look and see that they only run their Rife machine about 1/4 the time. It's like, okay, there's no excuses then. So make sure you turn it on every night. It's pretty easy. If you ever want to pause it, you can hit the pause button and then come back, and you have to hit pause again to unpause it. But I tell you, why are you going to do that? Don't do it. Just leave it running. But I get up to go to the bathroom. Then get up to go to the bathroom. You'll get those frequencies again. So don't stop the machine. Don't open it up in the middle of the night and have to pause it. Don't do that. Once you hit run at night before you go to bed, it's running. Don't change it. Just let it run. If you have to get, I have to get up and walk around for an hour. Well, get up and walk around for an hour, then come back and lay down again. So do not stop it. Just run it. Now, if you are running a program during the day, or let's say you hit well, it's Tuesday and you actually hit Monday's program by accident. Oh, I just ran that last night. Then hit stop and go back to open to get back to the file that you were in, or go to open home and then back to AA your program and go to Tuesday and hit run again. So you could use stop. So I tell people the top bar, the only thing you're really going to hit is open, run, stop, and open home. Really, that's what you're going to hit. That's all you're going to use. Now, you may, during the day, run some other files. That's great. So, oh, I got really bad pain. My knee has been really hurting me. Run the pain program. Oh, I just don't feel good. I feel like I got a cold or flu coming on. Run a cold and flu oncoming program. This is a wonderful tool. The biggest mistake I see with people with the Rife machine is they don't use it. So use it. Run some of the other programs. You do the same thing. Go to Open Home, look at the program you want to run, click on it. There's a whole bunch of different general use programs that you could use that can be extremely beneficial for you. So use the Rife. There's no excuse. This should be your go-to for everybody in the house. Your child has a problem. Is there a Rife program for that? Run the Rife program. So we get the neatest testimonials from people who say, oh, I ran it in my the plantar warts program and my plantar warts fell off. Well, that's fantastic. Okay, it's not going to cure everybody's plantar warts, but plantar warts are a virus, so you run the program. So make sure you use it. Common questions. Can I use other electronics? Can I watch TV? Can I listen to the radio? Can I listen to my iPod while I'm... Yes, you can. So you can run other electronics while running the Rife. It may interfere with radio signals. We've had people say that. I don't run the radio in our bedroom, but we've had people say it makes the something go freaky with the radio. That's a possibility. But yes, you can use other electronics. Nothing is going to interfere with the Rife frequency. The Rife frequency might interfere with something else, but the biggest complaint we get, if it's a complaint, people say is they can get static electricity shocks. Yes, you can. You're running frequencies. So if you're getting a lot of shocks, there could be a couple possibilities. Number one, your house is very dry. That's a possibility if you're getting a lot of static electric shocks with the Rife machine. Number two, you are very dry, meaning you're dehydrated. Make sure you're hydrated. Number three, it can be just the frequencies that's running at that time. So many times if it's running at a very high frequency, you're going to be more prone to static electric shocks. And number four, we might need to use a ground in your bed. So just let us know if it continues and it becomes really aggravated, and I will talk to you about possibly using some grounding. Next question, can we run night programs during the day? Absolutely. So on some people's programs, I already wrote you some day programs. Run those during the day, or certainly run any other programs you want during the day. On other people, I did not write you specific day programs. You can run the night programs during the day, and understand your programs are not sequential. So do I have to run Monday and then Tuesday and then Wednesday? What if I messed up and actually ran Tuesday? Did I mess up the sequence? No, there's no sequence to them. So you can run a day program. I'm going to run Monday during the day, but I only ran it for 3 hours. Well, then just stop it. Hit stop. So no problem with doing that. The next question, is it normal to feel achy or a cold or flu is coming on after using the Rife? Maybe, yes, depending on what you got going on. So if we're doing a lot of kill programs, if you have Lyme disease or some other bacteria or something like that, then yes, we don't want to herx you. We need to move the bulb away. So if you're listening to this and you are a Lyme patient, you cannot herx. That's my rule number one. So if you feel icky after using the Rife, then we need to put the bulb under the bed or move it farther away from you. For my cancer patients, if you feel icky after using the Rife, that's a good thing. Suck it up and keep trudging through, because we're not herxing with the cancer patient. So we are killing cancer cells, and we need to do that. If you have any other questions about this, make sure you contact us or jump on our Zoom calls or whatever to get your questions answered. There's a whole troubleshooting guide in the back of your binder. The biggest mistakes that we see that people make is that it comes up a USB error. That's very common that the Rife frequencies will feed back to the computer and it'll think that it doesn't have that USB connection. Sometimes you just need to unplug the USB cable and plug it back in. Or another mistake that we see people make is that they don't power down their computer itself and reboot it enough. That's what I do. I'm really bad at that. So if I get that USB error, if I don't unplug the USB cable and plug it back in and it doesn't work right away, then I got to reboot the computer. You'll get also run error messages where it thinks it's still running, even though it's not running. It'll say you have to stop it's running. It's still running. It'll tell you that the program's still running. Just hit OK and hit stop, and then run it again. So the whole problem is that we're running frequencies. So when you're running frequencies, it can feed back to the computer, and the computer thinks it's stopped or thinks it's still running, and you have to just reboot that. The Rife program may state that there's time left on the program, or the countdown on the timer won't be accurate. You shouldn't be looking at it anyhow, because your rule number 1 was to, as soon as you hit run, you close the computer. So that shouldn't be an issue. Contact us or True Rife with any other technical issues. Usually they're pretty easy to fix. If it's something with the Rife machine itself, True Rife is the person to help you with that. If you send it back to us, we can't fix it. We have to send it to them. So that's a rare happening, though. The machine I have at home is, at the time of this recording, is I think 6 years old, and it still runs great. My son's machine is 6 years old, still runs great. My daughter's machine is at least that old, still runs great. So there's never really an issue. So great. I hope this was helpful. Make sure you look at the guide in your binder as well. Thanks.